It is time to finally build that God Squad. Stay frosty and head to buymaddencoins.com for the cheapest, fastest, and most reliable MUT coins on the market. I'll even help you shave off a few bucks. Use code DIRECTOR at checkout for 20% off. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director, the Allergies Director. It's bad out here today, guys. Guys, Madden Ultimate Team fans, we got interesting video for you guys today, one revolving around the new power-ups that came out today, as well as just kind of like a heads up about EA Play this year, happening a week from, I think, Thursday, and that should give us our first indicator and our first kind of preview on what to expect with Madden 21. So before we get into this video, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps out a lot. Let's get into this video. All right, dudes, we got new power-up expansions in the game today. Now, the first thing I would like to say, you know, EA, if anybody's watching, it would be nice to have like an updated list or something. Maybe even somebody on Mutthead has a thread. I think it's kind of difficult for people to remember, you know, all of the power-up expansions that have come out in previous weeks. I remember trying to put together a Buccaneers/Chargers theme team a couple of days ago, and I was looking for all of the power-up expansions just in case one of them landed with the Bucs side of the theme, because I know all the Chargers ones, and it didn't seem like there was a list out quite yet. So if anybody on EA or anybody maybe even on Mutthead could put together a list or like a thread, you know, just to keep track of all of this stuff, it would be kind of awesome. Let's take a look at the power-up expansions from this week. What are we looking at? What are the pros and cons of every single card? John Elway will start here. John Elway, the biggest thing that people are going to notice about this card, even when the day that it came out with the NFL 100, was the strong arm archetype. Now, that is considered to be probably the weakest archetype for the quarterbacks. Trust me, I've shared in that disappointment as well when I saw that Justin Herbert for the rookies promo was also a strong arm quarterback, because you cannot get, you know, escape artist on him, even though he does have the 82 speed, which is a little bit disappointing. On the flip side, though, and who knows how long this is going to last, it could, you know, patched at any second. You can put ×4 gunslinger, or maybe even ×3 gunslinger, and like a hot route master or something on him as well. And we've all seen, you know, in the recent days with the gunslinger and the ability statching glitch, how good that could actually be. So John Elway fitting, you know, nice and neat into that category could be kind of glitchy. The only other quarterback I saw with the gold 99 that was a strong arm archetype was Culpepper, and I did try him out, and I stacked ×4 gunslinger on him, and it was honestly pretty impressive. I was like, holy crap, the ball was coming out so quick, and he'll definitely cost you a lot less than, let's say, a golden ticket like RG3. You know, that's probably one of the only ones I can recall that could get ×4 gunslinger as well. So I don't know if you guys wanted to try out stacked abilities. You know, gunslinger is a pretty fun one if you're kind of one of those guys that really wants to see if you can make passing work. I would say maybe try a guy like John Elway. You know, Culpepper's there too, but his LTD is a lot more expensive than it would be to power up this John Elway. Next up, we got a new addition to our offensive line, and kind of awesome. I hope to see more power-up expansion players on the offensive line, just because they're so much cheaper to upgrade. That's going to be Dwight Stephenson. Now let's take a look at this card on the surface. I mean, look, 99 pass block, 96 block power, 98 finesse. That's great. The run blocking's a little bit lower at 95, 93, and 95, and he's a little bit smaller of a center. Now, the pros on this is that he's so cheap. He's a 99 overall. If you're a passing kind of quarterback, he should do his job fairly well for the end of the year, like from now through the end of the year. He's an end game card. And again, if you have like a 94 power up pass, or if you already had his 94, you know, he's not going to be too expensive to power up. On the flip side, if you didn't have it, I'd have to imagine his 94 has gone up quite a bit in price. But the thing is, with your center right now, there's a theory going around, and I'm not quite sure how much it matters if you don't put abilities on, but the theory here is, and this is something that I've tested on my theme team, if you've got a center that's over 300 pounds, and you put abilities on him like elite pass blocker, I think is what it's called. It affects the rest of your offensive line in the same way that protected does on your quarterback. That's pretty interesting. Now, I do think it does work the same way with your center. He will still have that improved blocking, you know, like protected on the quarterback, and it will affect the rest of the line. But there, further research was done, and this was by Zan and his team. Amazing content. Go check them out. That if your offensive linemen are over 300 pounds and have over 90 strength, it will affect it dramatically on the effectiveness of their pass blocking. You know, I feel like, you know, having a center, you know, I think Dwight Stephenson is somewhere around 255 pounds. He's definitely a lot smaller. We've seen that weight does carry a factor with this, so I don't know, but it's cool to see, you know, an affordable 99 overall center. So, I mean, anybody could add him for relatively cheap, and it's a nice addition to the team. Next up is Edgerrin James. This is a solid item right here. Some people will say, well, 97 agility is not going to get human joystick, and you guys would be correct. The thing is, not everybody runs abilities on their halfbacks. You know, me for a long time did not. Now, I've got Bo Jackson, been running abilities on him. He's been great, but there's going to be a day that maybe I decide to take it off of him, put it on a wide receiver or something. And if you're those kind of guys, you know, that maybe you can't afford a Bo Jackson, you can't afford a Walter Payton, Edgerrin James is a great difference maker if you're not going to be putting abilities on your halfbacks. And the reason for that is he's definitely bigger. All right, I think he's somewhere in the realm of like 225 pounds, 6'2". That's great. It's like having a faster Derrick Henry out there. We all know that that frame does carry, you know, a positive consequence on the field, falling forward, you know, plowing through defenders. I think this is a great card. And again, the stats that you need to pay attention to: 96 speed and get up to 99 fairly easily. 97 agility is still great. 82 catching, which is underrated for a halfback of his size. And then 97 break tackle, which again, break tackle is one of my favorite attributes this year. So if you're not going to be running abilities on your halfback, I would say Edgerrin James would be a pretty solid choice. Cool? Cool. Go on the defensive side over here, starting with Peanut, Charles Tillman. This will be a great card for anybody, guys. And then what I'm telling you, there's a few cornerbacks, there's a few defensive backs in the game that stand out because of a couple of different factors. One being their speed. 95 speed is great. You can get up to 98 speed pretty easily on a non-themed team. 99 speed if you run a Bears or Panthers themed team, which is great. But the big thing that makes him deadly is the 6'2" height. 6'2", like I say all the time, having extra reach on your defensive backs, on your linebackers, you know, that gives you a better chance at making a play on the ball. If you had, you know, Charles Tillman back there versus, you know, like a 5'10" cornerback, you know, Crevon LeBlanc golden ticket, I actually would put my money on Charles Tillman rather than that golden ticket because he's got extra height on him, and a lot of extra height on him at that. And cornerbacks are the positions where you tend to see a lot more shorter players. So when you got a guy like Charles Tillman, maybe even a Antonio Cromartie, having that extra height does make a difference, and you do see it in game. As for the stats in Charles Tillman, 95 speed, pretty solid. You know, 94 man coverage is decent. 98 zone is great. 93 press is a little bit low, but at the same time, it's not bad. And the 94 agility is very important as well. I would suggest too, if you guys are running, you know, a whole bunch of cornerbacks that don't meet close to 99 agility, look for one of the chemistries that does give you a boost to agility, and just run that on your defensive backs, and maybe, you know, for wide receivers or something that don't need +2 speed. And the agility, in my opinion, definitely helps them in breaking on the ball. It definitely helps them react in the react time. And that's kind of, you know, simulating what we've seen in 99, you know, zone coverage and stuff in the past. All right. That's just my 2 cents right there. So honestly, Charles Tillman, very, very solid card. Next up, we got Sean Lee. Not going to spend a lot of time on this card other than saying that it's weird that we got one for Sean Lee. There's a lot of cards in the game I feel need to be upgraded, and this is probably one of the last ones that I would have chosen. 87 speed, too slow. You know, the power and finesse move, what up with that? What's up with that? You know, the best stats on this card is tackle and play rec, which really don't matter that much. And then you don't know his zone, which he would be too slow to make any breaks on it anyway. So I don't know, man. Love Sean Lee, the player. Sean Lee, the MUT card, not so much. Next up, we got Keanu Neal. Again, another respectable card on a non-theme team. You can get him up to 95 speed, which is fine. You know, I would say this is more for Falcons theme teams. I think you guys would be very happy with this one because you can get him up to 96 speed, which is pretty decent. The 99 hit power is pretty good. The 96 zone coverage. The 6'1" height is very good as well. I don't know who else you guys run as far as your Falcons strong safeties, but I mean, I would consider using this guy, you know, in a nickel and dime packages. I think he would be pretty awesome. And the 99 pursuit is pretty unique to him as well. Being able to close that gap a lot quicker against defenders or against receivers, I think that would be pretty cool, man. The 88 man coverage, don't worry about that too much. You can get that up to 90. I think 91 for me is the magic number, and that's not too difficult at all. But I really do like this Keanu Neal. The last thing I did want to touch on before we close out this video is EA Play Live. What can we expect from EA Play this year? For one, it's not going to be an in-person event. It looks like this is going to be a digital event due to the pandemic, and that's totally understandable. And it does launch on June 18th, which is a week from Thursday. So at minimum, we should be seeing new information about Madden 21 a week from Thursday, which is exciting. Now, what do we tend to see at EA Play? Well, here's what we saw last year. I will tell you guys, I was at EA Play last year. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And we were there in person to see all of the new changes and stuff integrated into Madden 21, or into Madden 20 at the time. Face of the franchise was first released. You know, we kind of got our first look at it. Got to, you know, go to your college and, you know, play a couple games there. That was kind of fun. The big thing for the gameplay was the Superstar X Factor. Getting kind of a first look at that was pretty cool. Getting to see, you know, what the game's going to look like with this new element. That's something that we could possibly see again this year. Who knows how they're going to be, you know, tinkering around X Factors. I, for one, think they're going to be keeping them. Some people don't want them. I think, obviously, they're probably going to keep them. But I do think there's going to be a lot of changes made to them. Hopefully, if it's just tuning, that's great. If they're adding more or, you know, taking some away or just balancing everything, that's also great. And then we got a little bit of a sneak peek, looks like, here with the Madden Ultimate Team missions, which is interesting. But what do you guys think we're going to see on June 18th regarding Madden 21? It should be a good time. I think we're going to see our first, you know, sneak peek of how the game's looking. Maybe, hopefully, you know, our first sneak peek at Madden Ultimate Team, but that tends to be a little bit later. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you do enjoy these videos, hit us up with a like and sub, and get excited. Who do you guys want to see for power-up expansions next week? I think this was a pretty decent class, but at the same time, I feel like the Sean Lee was a little bit of a head-scratcher. And get hyped for EA Play on June 18th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you next time, and as always, stay frosty.